Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? That's my washing machine. I'm sorry if you are hearing it. Hopefully it's not too bad, not too distracting. Our guest left this morning, so getting the room turned over, getting that laundry done real quick while I have a chance. Good morning, everyone. I'm Robin, and this is the Holstein House broadcast, and I'm glad to have you here with me this morning. This is actually episode 85 of the Holstein House broadcast. We've started just not a year ago. I think it's October it hits a year, but this is episode 85. We've been broadcasting a couple times a week, usually Tuesdays and Fridays now. And on Tuesdays, we have more of a arranged set of topics. And on Fridays, it's I call it Friday Live Unscripted because, anything can go on Fridays. But today's episode 85, and we're going to talk a little bit about direct booking, an update on the Ramsey House, an update on the dog house, update on the poultry expansion project. Cream cheese workshop I'm getting ready to do, and more. And so I'm really glad to have you join me. When you check in, please say hello. You don't have to keep chatting after that, but I sure would like for you to say hello when you get here. So we're going to start out today with a little bit of updates. And like I said, there's really not a lot happening with the doghouse or the Ramsey House. I'm waiting on the doghouse again. Contractors, I hate to be, negative Nancy and stuff on you, but daggone, keep a person informed. It goes a couple weeks and I have to drag information out of the contractors that I'm dealing with. Now, the fellow who did my front porch that just absolutely dragged on and dragged on and dragged on. I really couldn't get why he couldn't take care of it, because he didn't have to be out in the wet. Well, he would be in the weather. He'd be on the front porch, but he'd be under the porch. And I just months and months I had to drag stuff out of him. And, he does great work. I loved up until that project, working with him on stuff. But now the guy, and he's affiliated with a national or a larger franchise company. And here we are. He was here a couple weeks. He wasn't, but his crew was here a couple weeks ago measuring again. So we're going to get you worked in. We're going to watch the weather, make sure we have a few days of good weather. And it's been nice for, I don't know, maybe even a week. Well, we did have one. Was it Friday evening or Saturday? We had like a 15-minute squall that come through, but it's been fairly dry. I don't I'm getting flustered. There's stuff I want to do with the doghouse that I can't do without a roof. So not putting the roof on throws everything out for me. And I don't see how they stay in business without keeping people updated. To do a project management. If this was a major project, where I was losing money every day, this thing wasn't under roof, and kind of I am. I can't move forward. People be screaming and stomping their feet and raising all kinds of a stink. But is it because it's a different little building? Is it because I'm a female? I don't want to throw the female card out there, really, but sometimes it's a fact. It's a truth. I don't know. It's not a big building. It's going to have basically new, sheeting and stuff, or decking. But come on, what's the deal? Why can't you let somebody know what's going on? I've got a project that's scheduled to finish up on Friday, but we're running late now because of the rain. You're next. I've got 2 projects ahead of you. Try to be there 1st of August. What's so hard? I've already signed a contract to have the work done. We're in contract to have it done. I don't know. It's very frustrating to me. I can't move forward on projects without it, and I don't have anybody to step in and do it. And like I said, I'm in contract with them. And plus, prices keep changing. The prices of construction material, the roofing material, is going to change every day, just about, or at least every week. So it's aggravating for me. The Ramsey House, haven't made any progress, any more progress of getting it cleared out because of life. There's just a lot going on. I really thought that I would be able to get settled down a little bit now that I didn't have the Tuesday, Thursday thing at the church, so that I was not there, 4 days out of 7. Not begrudging the church, but um, I was there 4 days out of 7 to take care, to help do things there at the church. Count That's also counting church service on Sunday, so maybe I shouldn't count that, but um, that was finished up, so I should have my Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't have them. I don't have them. Um, right now, today, as a matter of fact, I have to take Dad to an appointment. His back and his hip has got. He hasn't left the house in a month. He hasn't left the house since we got back from his overnight hospital stay here a month ago. And I mean, he's walked around in the house sort of, but he hasn't left the house in a month. And what is there? Why is there? Oh, I know that's not the same Nat. They don't live that long. What is it? Just it's been like for 4 episodes now. There's been a Nat, and I know it's not the same one. Even flies don't live that long, although they you think they do. Um, anyway, so I'll be taking Dad to a doctor's appointment today, this afternoon. He didn't want it in the morning. He can't get up moving around. I'm wondering if he doesn't need a hip, if he doesn't need his hip replaced. And we'll be talking to the doctor about that. I originally asked for referral to a rheumatologist because we know he has arthritis there. We know he has arthritis in his lower back and his hip. And the way he explains it to me, it sounds like it's the arthritis, because he says it takes him a long time to get moving to where he can move. But it may be hip. It may be hip. So I spent quite a bit of time yesterday on a wheelchair. It's an much older transport wheelchair. Has no wires or gizmos or anything. It's just the chair and the wheels. The spokes were very, very loose on it. I mean, you could spin them with your fingers, and it was just crazy. So I started off with one of those adjustable crescent wrench thingies that you get in these little sets that, it's okay for me to have around the house because I don't do big projects that require them. But I quickly got very frustrated with it because uh, the thing kept sliding back. It wouldn't stay where I left it, and it got aggravating. So I went and got an actual spoke wrench. I think is what it's called, a spoke wrench for. It's the same idea as a bicycle, so it tightens up the spokes, and it's just a little tiny, weird size little thing. Got it at the Walmart yesterday, and it was almost as aggravating because it's cheap made, but I don't need one very often. Or I've never need one. I'm 58 years old. I've never needed a spoke wrench in my life. So when I got one at the Walmart and fought with it and tore my fingers up quite a bit, just scraping along the spokes and stuff and trying to get in and around and do stuff. And I'd lose my place, so I took a marker and marked the wheel where I was at, so when I got clear back around, I knew what I was, that I'd made it all the way around, which direction I was going. And I would sit there with this, and I don't have the facilities. I don't have a bike rack or anything like that. So I'm sitting here with this wheelchair, this older wheelchair, up against me. I'm in a chair on the front porch, and I'm sitting here doing all of this, and then I get distracted by something, and then I come around and I do it back the other way, and I forget which direction I was turning the stuff, and oh, it just took me all day. But I don't even know if Dad's going to use it. He wanted me to cancel. He has two appointments next week, one with his cardiologist, and one with his um, pulmonologist, and he wanted me to cancel those. And I said, no, I'm not going to be canceling those. No, Dad, you can't be canceling your appointments. We're going to get you there if we have to take you in a chair. And so I got a hold of this chair, which is just for now until we figure out what's going on. And I called him yesterday and was talking to him and asked him how he was doing. He said he still wasn't getting around very well. He's using a walker in the house, not his cane, and it kind of sort of helps a little bit. And I said, well, do you want me to pick you up tomorrow early enough to go eat lunch before your doctor's appointment? I said, I know you're wanting him to do blood work or to check you for a UTI. I said, but I don't think you need to be fasting for that. And he says, no, I'm not going anywhere like that with a walker. For some of you, it's a frame. Sorry about that. For some reason, all of our electric went off everywhere. I was sitting here in the dark. I thought, well, this is fun. So I don't know how much of a blank spot's in there, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're still there, I appreciate you very much. I don't know if I can go back in and drop in that there was a power outage or clip that out. I don't know. But for the live stream right now, doesn't matter. um, it was enough though. It did kick off my washing machine. It was thumping. Do you remember it thumping? Oh, anyway, so I was talking about Dad, I think, and he doesn't want to use the walker. And I told him, I said, pride is a sin. And he started chuckling. And he said, yeah, I know. I said, I'm going to have to do a talk on Sunday about the sin of pride. And he just kind of laughed. I know he doesn't like it. I know he doesn't like it, but he can't stay in the house like he is. There's a long backstory, and I can't go into it here. Wouldn't be appropriate, but he can't stay there like that. So if you will forgive some beeping and blooping in the background, I'm rebooting my other machine here. This one would have had a battery, but I disconnected the battery because it acts up every now and again, and it won't reset, and then it's worked better without the battery. So I don't know if it's a battery glitch or not, but so it's directly into the electric. That's why it kind of went down. It would not have been able to stream anyway, but I might have gotten on a couple minutes earlier if I didn't have to hit my iPhone for the personal hotspot. Sorry. So anyway, next week I have to take Dad to 2 appointments, and got to take him today. I'm gonna put the chair in my car. I don't know if he'll let me if he'll get in that chair. That was the whole point of what I was getting into. Is he's a little prideful about that, but I know it can be. It's hard to accept the idea. I mean, he'll be 83 on Friday, and he just he's the last couple years he's really kind of declined physically. His mind is still good. His lungs actually have been pretty good. I don't know if this last spell that he was at the hospital was lung related, but it seems to be. Inhaler seems to have helped him. And let's see. I don't know if my Wi-Fi is back up yet. It would be easier if it is. Because it won't be. I have an unlimited plan, but it's still the stream would be. It says it's connected. We'll see just how connected it is here in just a minute. Anyway, Dad's. I mean, he's okay, but he's housebound. He's really housebound, and I don't like that. He needs to get out a little bit. He needs to get out and move around. He needs to get out and walk around a little bit. And he may, like I said, it may be his hip. He may need hip surgery. So moving on from that, I told you I got the steam canner. I think I did tell you I had the steam canner because I believe I showed you a picture of some watermelon. Oh, it kicked back on. Huh, I didn't think it did that. My washing machine. So there it goes. Thunk, 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 thunk. I showed you some watermelon rind preserves that I did, and I haven't used it again. We've had guests, and I didn't want to heat it up. The upstairs room, the guest room, gets really hot in the afternoons anyway. Even with I've lowered our house HVAC, it's just not a good flow up all the way upstairs. It's just not. I don't know how you explain it, but even with the updated unit outside, the air upstairs, it's like it's restricted or something. I don't know why it's such an issue, but it just doesn't flow upstairs very well. And so there's a window unit in the guest room, and the guests, I think, were a little hesitant to use it. They came and asked me, bless their hearts. Well, she asked me, there was a wasp that was in the room. You know how you get those wasps that just kind of show up? There's like one. And They even show up in the winter when it gets, you have a warm spell in the winter. So there was one of those bumping around on the ceiling, and they asked me if I'd get it. And so I got up there, and he was in the bathroom, and she was upstairs, and she mentioned the vent, the ceiling, the vent. The people who put the AC in for the upstairs, they put it, they took it all the way up into the attic and back down. So the vent for the guest room, she asked me. She said it's cold, and her English, like I said the other day, wasn't very good. They're from South Korea, and she said it was the cold air was blowing on them, and the room was really warm. And I thought, well, South Korea, it's kind of tropical, something a little warmer. I said, yeah, I can fix it. So I had a plastic vent director thingy on it, and they had taken it down. Well, I think they took it down because it was too warm in the room, and they thought maybe it was, or it was because I had it directed out in a way, because the vent, the way the vents blow, they blow out, and I wanted that directed into the room, and they had taken it down, and so I shut the vent as best I could, and then I put that deflector up back up, and I faced it the other way. Well, I asked them the next day if it was okay, and his English is better than hers. He said, well, yeah, it was kind of warm. I said, well, maybe I misunderstood her, because I thought she said it was cold. And he said, well, it was blowing on us, but the room is really warm, but we turned the other air conditioner on. I said, do what you need to do with that vent. If you want to open that vent, open the vent. Um, it's fine. So I don't know. I don't know what they seemed pleased. They were very pleasant people, and they gave me a little spoon. I was going to show you a picture of my spoon that they gave me if I can find it, and share the screen. Present, share the screen, um, window. Here it is. So here's my little spoon, and it says Korea, and that's the Korean flag. It's kind of like those. It's like those souvenir spoons. He gave it to me this morning before they left, and I asked him, "Can I open it?" He said, "Yeah." So it just, and right here are a couple of ducks, Korean ducks, which is really cute. And at the bottom it says, I think it's Korean marriage duck or wedding ducks. And I was kind of stopped, but he said it's a some kind of a gift, and he appreciated letting them stay and all this other stuff. So I said, "Oh, thank you very much." I don't have a spoon collection like that. I don't really want one. Like how people collect those souvenir spoons for every place, and then they have the thing, and then when they pass away, what do you do with all these spoons? I didn't want to do. I mean, I appreciate that, and I'm going to find a way to display it. I'm sure on Amazon, because Amazon's got everything. There's some kind of little spoon display thing that I can get to put that in or on or something. So that'll be fun. Um, finally, the washing machine quit. I've been plagued with ants. Finally got some ant terror. I think I told you that. And they just were lapping that up. They really, really love it. And it has slowed them down. When you first use that ant terror, it's a liquid, and it's awful, because they drag it out with them as they're coming, and it kind of gets on stuff. You can put a little drop on a piece of cardboard or something and put it around, but I just leave the whole thing, let them all go to one spot. And it takes, the first day you're just going to see just a swarm of ants going in and out of it, just taking that stuff back. And then after a little while, you just see 3 or 4, and then after a little while, you see 1 or 2, and then after a while, you don't see any. So I do need to find. He had bought that when he was in Indiana this time last year, and put it in the camper, because the camper got polluted with ants where he was staying, and it worked real well, and he had that one left. So I've got to find it locally and get it back in the camper, get him stocked back up for his next trip to Indiana. So just real quick, a little more on our guest from South Korea. It turned out, he had told me that he was teaching at uh, Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. And I found out a little more detail today before, they were leaving. They were talking and they're looking for a house and wanted to know if they could come back if they couldn't find a place. And I said, yeah, that's fine. I said, but the person that I have coming in booked it several weeks ago. And so that's been there. I couldn't not, take him. But I told him, I said, we'll direct book. It'll save you some money. It will, we can go a longer time period. And if the room seems to be blocked, let me know. Like if they need 2 weeks, and I know I've got dates closed next week because taking dad. I said, my dad has some appointments I have to take him to. And I don't mind if you stay because you're good people and you're not going to hit me in the head. You're not going to steal my stuff. I mean, I know that. So I can let you come and go. I just didn't want anyone trying to come in when I have dad at a doctor's appointment. Or, what can happen is you have an early afternoon appointment, the doctor's running late, it messes you all up, and then I'm not here when my guests need to be here. I should have a co-host, and I technically do have one listed, but it's my sister and she's not able to do it. So I really need to take her off there though. But it does kind of help for her to, if she knows, because that's this half sister that lives with my dad. She lets dad know sometimes that I have people staying. But he is going to be an adjunct instructor for the electronics engineering program. He's a very smart young man, and she has completed all the South Korean requirements. Not, I don't know what those are, but all the South Korean requirements to be an acupuncturist. And so she's looking for work in that field here in the Valley. And I looked at her and I said, wow, that's crazy. How long did you study? And her English is not as good. So he was filling in some blanks when she gave him that look like, I don't know what. And so 20 years. And I said, 20 years? Were you 10 years old when you started school? Because she's a gorgeous looking young girl. And he said, no. And she said, I am 36. So she's 36 years old. And she's had 20 years of training. And I guess it probably counts, she had to go to some medical school kind of stuff. I mean, it's a big, hairy deal down there. And I told him, I said, I'm aware of acupuncture. I've never had acupuncture, but I understand what it's supposed to be and do. And so we were talking, she wants to start working in an office for a while and to learn how things work in the United States. And we were talking about, she said she did a little Google search for acupuncture offices and clinics and stuff, but she only found a couple. I said, I don't know how many there are, but listen here. We have a pharmacy. It's not just a pharmacy. It has some groceries. It has some clothing. It has a lot of stuff called Drug Emporium. And there are two of them here in within a few miles of me and I just said in Charleston. Technically it is in Charleston. I was telling him, I said, one is over here and one is over here. I said, inside that pharmacy is a smaller business called Healthy Life Market. I think that's what it is. And I said, they have all of the alternative medicines, the herbal medicines, the holistic stuff. I said, and I kind of jotted down what I was talking about so that it would help them to help her to search for it. I said, go in and ask them. Go in the store. I said, it's kind of like you went to Walmart up here. And he said, yeah. I said, how Subway is in Walmart? Well, this is the same way. This little Healthy Life Market is in there. I said, go in there and ask them if they know of acupuncturists in the area. Maybe they can help you find someone to call. And so they were all tickled about that. So we're gonna connect up. I told him if they direct book, and I told him you can't put direct book in Airbnb in your messages because it's against the rules. And I know there's a lot of people who don't like to follow the rules, but I don't want to get kicked off Airbnb just because I passed this on. I said, here's my email address. We exchanged email addresses there for a little while. And I told him I'd reach out and I'd give him the link to direct book. We'd work around that. So that went really well. They're really nice people. And the young man that's coming tomorrow is a young man that he's hiking the New River Gorge National Park. So he'll be here. That's why. I mean, I have plenty. What I do is when folks leave, when I change the room, I always spray for insects. And it's not because I think people are dirty or that they are, just negligent or anything. If you're a traveler, if you're traveling, your luggage is going from point to point to point. You're setting your luggage down. If you're like the young man that's hiking, he's laying his backpack or he's putting his shoes. You could bring ticks, fleas, anything in. It's not that somebody's dirty. It's just that you're traveling and you wouldn't want to go to a place that doesn't have any kind of prevention and put your stuff down and pick up bed bugs or ticks or fleas or anything like that. So I break the room down and take out the trash, take out the dirty clothes and stuff. I vacuum and then I spray the carpet and then the corners and then I vacuum again and then I clean that up. So to head off any type of insects that may come in on shoes or clothes or whatever. And the fact of the matter is, some people have bugs, and you don't know till they get here. So you don't want to leave that to chance, and then suddenly you need to call an exterminator. So, I mean, I don't fog the room or anything; it's not that much, but I do hit the corners of the room and the carpet under the bed and stuff. And that gives me a chance to wash up the stuff, and then I'll put the bed sheets on and finish cleaning up after that. But my primary thing I wanted to talk to you about today is using a program for direct booking. If you're considering an Airbnb, or if you're considering a B&B, or if you're just thinking about even doing little tiny houses where people can, check themselves in and stuff. One of the programs that you may want to think about is one called Free to Book, FREETOBOOK.com. Now, I am not endorsed by them. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't pay me anything to share this information with you. I just use them, and I've used them, probably 5 years anyway. I didn't start out using them. I started using them a few years ago. Well, like I said, about 5 years ago, as I wanted to move away from dependence on the online travel companies. Because, and I've shared before with you that the fees that they charge, and that's one of the things that I was talking to my guests this morning about, the benefits of direct booking. The fees that Airbnb charges is almost $10 a night. So it comes out to be something like 17%. I mean, I did the math the other day, and I shared that with you guys a couple videos ago, that one of my guests that came for one night actually paid $72 to stay here. Well, I don't charge $72. I mean, I charge a little more to keep, from getting people who are going to tear stuff up. And that's something that we've talked about before, with setting your rates. Kind of talked about it in passing, but so out of that $72, there's over 17% was taken in fees, and I'm not talking about the occupancy taxes, and that's just the only thing that they cover for me is occupancy taxes to the state. They don't pay anything else. So, it's like 17% in fees to the guest. So I like to use Free to Book. Now, Free to Book is a UK based business. They offer direct booking. It is you embed it into your website. You can use it without doing that, but that's the best way. And you send people to the embed link, and then they can book the room and they can see, specials that you offer and things like that. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. Their basic service charges $1.50 per booking. So if you have nothing else other than the booking ability to book, which is your calendar, and they don't manage any of your other stuff. It's just a calendar, and you set your rates in that calendar. You open and close your rooms, and so when people go to your website, they click the link and they go to your and I mean, there's no um, darn it. You don't there's no free to book logos or images on your website. I mean, you don't even know it. You upload your own images and stuff. Then it's $1.50 per booking that you pay them for using the free to book site per booking, and that's not that bad. I mean, if you charged $100, that's 1%. So, but and you don't pay that until after your fees are collected, after the booking occurs. Now there are some that's the basic service. That's the very basic um, calendar setup, and there are other things that you can add on, other services like calendar management. Now calendar management is where, like, I have Airbnb, you may have Airbnb, you may have booking.com, you may have one of the other online travel companies. They connect calendars, and and their software manages so that when somebody books Airbnb, all of my calendars that are connected, if I was with booking.com or travel, it used to be Travelocity, I think it's something else, and all those other, then it updates all those calendars so that you don't have double bookings, which is a big deal for me because I have nowhere else to put anybody. So right now, the only thing I do is I have added on the calendar management to help me with that. That's the only extra thing that I pay for to free to book. It's kind of like a cafeteria type plan. There are several things that you can choose from, but and they cost extra. But the very basic, the free forever plan, includes no annual fee, no commission. The booking diary, which is where you set your calendar, what days you're open, what days you're closed. A simple, very basic direct book link for the website. The ability to adjust prices, flexible occupancy prices, and reports. Some very basic reports. Now, I did add what's called a channel manager package to mine, like I mentioned to you just now. That just allows them to connect all of my calendars, which I only have the one, so that Airbnb and free to book calendars match up. So that if the folks from Korea decide to direct book and they book, say, all of next week, it will automatically update my calendar for Airbnb. It also allows me to charge extra for Airbnb, so I can increase my fee to Airbnb only. I can set that so that let's use round numbers and say I charge $10 a night. I can add $5 for direct book, so that people who or for Airbnb, so the people who use Airbnb will pay, $15. People who direct book will pay $10. And that channel manager package takes care of that as well. There is a one-time connection fee. I think when I did it, and it's been a long time ago, that it was £49 British sterling. I don't remember now what that translated, or what that exchanged for US dollars. I want to say it wasn't any more than $55 US. I don't remember. It's been a long time ago. But you do have to consider the exchange rate when you do that kind of stuff, and the exchange rate on the $1.50 that they charge, because it may be, $1.25 US and $1.50 in pounds, or vice versa. Now, things that you can add to your free to book programs. You can add card payments. Right now, I don't do credit card payments through free to book. I still use PayPal. I have that set up. I haven't had time to change that. It's it's not a problem for me to do it. I can't, all I do is I invoice the individual with an email. If they're standing beside me, they can swipe the card or tap the card. If they're wanting to pay, if they pay it by email, then it takes them to a link where they enter their card information. I can also take cash on site and go into the software and update the payment that I have accepted the payment. But like I said, right now I invoice using PayPal, but I'm going to be switching that around a little bit. Messaging, you can add messaging. Right now, I don't do that, and I told you I had just the very basic package. The messaging is done through Free to Book instead of on your phone, so it's through their. It's not really an app, but it's through their site, and you can set up pre-populated messages and things like that through there if you want to. You can add Google Bookings, where guests searching on Google are shown your direct rates and availability through Free to Book's live connection with Google. So it kind of puts an advertisement up there. And if I adjust my prices here, then Free to Book updates that price on the Google search. They offer dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing automatically optimizes your pricing throughout the day. For dates, you can set for the whole year, dynamic pricing. You set the minimum price and the maximum price, so it's always within what you want, and you can override. You can go in and override if you want to. Airbnb does this. I'm not a big fan of it because although it does help you fill your rooms, it kind of drops your rates in order to do that. And it's not just a free to book thing that drops your rate. That's what that dynamic pricing is. Your pricing adjusts based on now Airbnb does it within, but it's based on demand. So if I was in a very touristy area, let's say I was in the New River Gorge National Park, or closer to New River Gorge National Park than I am right now. And during whitewater rafting season, demand for space is going to be high. So that dynamic pricing is going to increase my rates during that period of time because everybody else, all these other rooms around me are being booked. And during periods of time when there's not a whole lot going on, it's going to adjust down to try to encourage people to come and stay with me based on rates. And you set your rates. It won't take you down to $10 a night. I mean, unless you set it that way. So if I set it at $10, that's the lowest it would go. If I set it at $100, that's the highest it would go, but it would fluctuate within that. That's what that dynamic pricing is. Now, you don't have to accept all those options. Like I said, a couple of different times, I'm using the very basic option. I'm using one step up from free forever because I did add the calendar management. And that helps free up my time because I'm not sitting here constantly. Lord knows I don't have a lot of time to spare. But so you're not obligated to take all of those things. A lot of them do have a one-time setup fee and then a small rate, either monthly or based on your nights booked. So there are a variety of support networks that they have. They have a Facebook group. They have a Facebook a free to book community blog. They have a lot of web training and stuff. And it's really interesting because I believe most of the videos that I've watched aren't just people from the UK. Well, maybe let me put it this way. They're not just people from England because there's a lot of accents in there that tell me that we've got Scots and Irish in there and some other folks with it. And they're interesting not only to watch, but to listen to as well. Being in the United States and speaking this mountain English, it's interesting for me to hear people speak English differently with different accents and twangs and stuff. And it's fun to listen to. But yeah, there's a lot. And of course there's a support, email support. And I've only had a couple of questions that I had to send to them. The rest of it I was able to learn just using the program. It's very easy to use and watching some of those videos. But the few times that I had questions, there is the time difference, because it's like, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours. I think it's 6 hours between here and London. So you kind of have to give them some grace that way, because their main offices may not be open, but they've always responded well and within a reasonable amount of time to my questions. One of my recent direct books is an example using free to book. The guest was invoiced for $61.60. That was an overnight stay. That was including occupancy taxes that have to be applied. And that would all come to me, with the exception that I took PayPal on that one. And PayPal smacked me for $2.64 in fees. So my payout was $58.96. So when I compared that to the previous example that came from Airbnb, I cleared three almost $4 more, and the guest paid almost $11 less. So I could adjust my rate some more and get kind of equal, but I just I don't need to gouge my people. And not that you would, or that some folks other folks who take Airbnb do. I mean, I don't know what their margins are. I just don't need to be that person that makes an exorbitant amount. My place isn't that fancy, and I've had this conversation with you guys before. It is very basic. It's a 1920s home, 1920s-ish. We think it's a little older than that. It does have some oddities associated with being this old, and one of them is the guest room does tend to get really hot in the evenings. But we have, well, my room does too, but the house has its quirks, but it has a lot of neat old things in it, and we love having folks come, and we love sharing that with them. So I'm kind of hoping that my folks from Korea will be coming back. I think I don't know if they, and I should be ashamed of myself, I don't know if they tend to, how in China it's the last name is first, the family name is first, and then the given name is second. I don't know if they're that way in South Korea or not. Yangil Kim. So that was his name. I'm assuming Kim is his first name. It may not be. I don't know. I didn't ask. The only thing I did ask them, and I told them, I said, I don't want to be stereotyping you, but do you like duck eggs? Because I have ducks. And I know that the ladies at the nail salons like duck eggs. And they said, well, we kind of have never had duck eggs, so we're not really sure, but we would try them. So if they come back, I think I'll fix them some duck eggs and see what they say. Not, like I said, there's that stupid gnat. Not to be stereotypical, but if this is, I mean, culturally, I like bacon. I would not be offended if I'm in Korea and somebody says, do you like bacon? I know Americans like bacon. I'll be saying, yeah, I like bacon. So hopefully it couldn't have offended them too bad, because they talked like they would be coming back. It was just a glitch in the calendar that they had to leave today, and they're welcome back anytime. So that's the biggest part of the discussion on free to book that I have. The program's not for everyone, obviously, because if you're not hosting people in a B&B or hospitality type setup, it's not going to apply to you. But I wanted to talk about that today. I've been trying to do more specific conversations on Tuesdays about the B2B career, or options, however you want to call it. I was looking up the other day. I like the idea of a boarding house. I do like the idea of a boarding house. I'm getting up there in age to be having a boarding house, but I kind of like that idea. You have different people coming to stay with you for longer periods of time. I think I was reading a couple of different things about boarding houses that some of them during the 1920s and 1940s would only offer one meal to their guests, and that one meal might be dinner. I don't want to be cooking dinner every day for 6 or 7 people. Once in a while is okay. I don't mind setting out breakfast the way I do for my guests right now because I've only got a couple people at the most. I might lose my mind if I had more than that, but um, I kind of like the idea of that of having a boarding house, and but it's I don't know, maybe it's a backwards look through rose-colored glasses at it. There's an episode of Andy Griffith, and Lord help me for even bringing this up because I don't really like to watch that show, but there's a couple episodes that I really enjoy. But one of them focuses more on Barney Fife. Now, Don Knotts was originally from West Virginia, so you always got to kind of tie that in. He was from the Beckley area. I think it was Beckley. He might have been from Morgantown. I think he was more from Morgantown. I'm not sure, but anyways, from West Virginia. And his character, Barney Fife, lives in a boarding house. And he gets in trouble and gets booted out for a little bit because he's cooking in the room, and you're not supposed to cook in the room. I would maybe have, if I had it set up, I may have a small refrigerator and a microwave or something, kind of like you do in a hotel. I wouldn't want people cooking. Now, I will say this, my guests, I was disappointed they have spilled something in the room. I don't know what it was, but they cleaned it up with the towels, and it might have been tea because I know they had some tea they took upstairs, which I've never told them not to. But yeah, something was spilled. They cleaned it up with the towels. Hopefully I can get it. It comes out. There was another reason why I had the washing machine running because I wanted to get it washed as soon as I saw it. Let's see. I got to be careful on my time because, it's just one of those days where I reach out and say, my micro SD card reader is here. And oops, it's not there. Where is it? I know I have 845 million different card readers. I got them all over the place, and I can't find one of them. Can't find one of them. Driving me crazy. But I don't have much time left on my StreamYard package. I've been downloading them. I've got a couple of SD cards full already with episodes. I've got, if I can get it out of here. This is a neat little device, little drive, SanDisk drive. It's got a regular USB on one end, or I guess it's USB A, and then a little USB B. I don't know, micro SD. I don't know. Anyway, it's got a little one on that end, and you just kind of slide this back and forth, but to connect. But it's full now. It's full now. So I got another one. Got a little SD card, and I can't find my stupid reader to plug it in. So I got to be careful today. I got to get that done before Friday because I won't have any time left to do the Friday show. It's terrible, isn't it? Terrible. So the garden, there's not much change in the garden. The cherry tomatoes are green, and there's a blue million of them, and they're just green. The early girl tomatoes are tiny and green. The broccoli thing, something's still eating it. Although I did have it put up, and it was kind of trying to live and trying to continue life. I had to take it out of the chairs, and something's eating it. Probably that dumb little groundhog. But I don't. You know what? I haven't seen that groundhog since Bob rolled it. He went after that groundhog here a few weeks ago. He saw it and pew, took off. I bet I did a little short. I had a little short, and I put it up of Bob rolling that little groundhog. I don't think he heard it. I don't think he got his mouth around it. I think it was rolling and he plowed into it and stuff. But anyways, it was funny. I got rid of those Corelle dishes. I have see, this is a frustration. I have a couple of things listed on Amazon's marketplace to try to get rid of some old Tupperware, orange Tupperware. Why don't people read? I know I've had 6 inquiries about will I bring them to wherever? Will I ship them to wherever? And in the listing, I put pickup only. I guess I'm going to have to move that to the first 3 words, pick up only. What was the other one? Pick up only. Oh, and the location. So I've got pickup only and the Quincy Walmart. And I got people saying, oh, and I don't respond to, is it still available? You know how there's that automatic thing that you can punch on Facebook Marketplace? It's one of the most annoying, laziest things I've seen. I don't know how long. Don't punch that. Don't punch it. When I get that, I'm not responding. And I got 5 or 6 of them, probably just to be jerks. But I don't have time for that. If it's there, it's available. I know some people sell stuff and then they don't take it down, but that wasn't it. So I am going to, how much time do I got? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Where is my, oh, I only got about 4 minutes left. So I'm going to start winding down. I have a cream cheese workshop tomorrow at the church. It's a lot like my yogurt workshop. And in fact, it is like part 2 because we're going to use the yogurt that we made to make cream cheese. And I'll go over that. I had a young lady in the Telegram group say, I would pay money for that. So I might, I can't film it there. The acoustics are a nightmare and I don't have enough signal to do a live stream. So it's crazy, but I'm going to do that. I think I already have one, but I'll do another one on making cream cheese. And I did a little experiment. I tried to make it with store-bought blueberry and strawberry yogurts. Didn't work at all. So I'm not going to do that again. That's our stuff at the church for this week, except for Bible study. We're studying Revelations. Let's see. I think that's really the most that I can share with you today. I'm going to have to start winding it down because I've got very limited time left on here. And plus, I got to get to the laundry, get the room finished upstairs, get ready to take Dad to the doctor. Go to robinholstein.com. and go to the contact page. You'll find all of the places that we can meet up, all of the different social networks that I'm involved with. If you'd like a more routine day-to-day kind of, hello, what are you doing? I got a question kind of stuff. You can go to t.me/Holstein House. That's my Telegram group chat on Telegram. Pocket Cast. I hope you're hearing me on Pocket Cast, and I hope there's some way you can let me know you're hearing me because I would like to know. I haven't heard anything about that. And if you would like to book Holstein House, our guest room, there is a direct book link at robinholstein.com. On the menu, go to Holstein House. Click Holstein House, and it will take you to the direct book. There's some other stuff over there, but I got to wind it down. I got 3 minutes left. I don't have time to do everything I need to do, so we're going to call it there. I do appreciate the time that you shared with me today, and I would appreciate if you got this far. If you haven't liked or subscribed on whatever platform you're hearing me on, please do so. Please do that. And I'm going to go for now. And you guys have a great, it's August the 1st. Holy cats, this year is almost over. It really is. It's August. When August rolls around, it's like everything is so fast. It just, it'll be cool weather before too long. It'll be snowing before too long. Lord help me, it'll be Christmas before too long. So take care, everybody. I'm going to go and you have a good week, and we will see you again on Friday at 10 o'clock for Friday Live Unscripted. Okay? See you soon. Bye-bye. So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.